Hey everybody, we are Hard for Games. Welcome to the channel. I'm Tony.
I'm Dan.
And I'm John.
So what are we doing today?
Today we're taking a look at Tiny Toons Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure for the Sega Genesis.
So this is like a rare prototype version.
Nope.
So this is just like a rare game in general.
Nope.
So this is like really expensive on eBay or something.
Nope.
So why are we looking at this game?
Well, this is a game from my childhood. Played it a lot as a kid. Thought it was awesome. Found it the other day. Still awesome. That would bring it to your attention for an affordable priced, highly enjoyable gaming classic.
Wait. So it's a fun retro game that no collectors are scalping on eBay?
Right.
The story of Tiny Toon Adventures, Buster's Hidden Treasure is Buster gets a treasure map, and as you might think by the title, doesn't go after the treasure, but instead has Montana Max try and kidnap all of his friends and brainwash them with the help of a scientist, and then he has to bust them out. So there's a lot of hidden treasure in this game.
The treasure is friendship.
There you go.
That's the treasure. Treasure is savagely beating up someone trying to steal friendship. It is also developed by Konami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Konami these days, instead of developing quality titles like this, develop pachinko machines.
Yes.
Take that, Sankyo.
So to look at gameplay, like most licensed big-name video games of the early 90s, this is a side-scrolling platformer, fairly straightforward format, but what this game does really, really well is kind of takes a best of a number of different side-scrollers and puts them together for a game that's extraordinarily fun to play. It takes Sonic's ability to go fast, run right, all that good stuff. It takes elements of very precise platforming and jumping, the double jump out of Ninja Gaiden, and it takes all these things and then puts its own spin on them to really make it a unique title. One of the big things that separates this one is the jumping mechanism, which it takes a minute to get used to, admittedly. It's very strange. When you release the jump button, the character falls really fast, really hard, and you can use that to really, really finely position your character in the level, which is good because as the game goes on, they actually expect you to do more and more of that as the difficulty increases. I've never played another game with a similar mechanism to this, and I think it works very well here. One of the great things about this game is the level design. There's 30 levels scattered across 6 different little mini worlds. Well, what's great about this is all of the levels have their own personalities. Every one of them has a very unique visual theme, a unique gameplay theme. They're all very distinct. And what's great about that is it keeps the game really fresh as you play it. The Plains levels are very fast. You can do the Sonic gotta go fast through the whole thing. I mean, you gotta go fast in the first 2. That's what you do. Then you get into the woods, and there's a little more platforming, a lot more tree limb to tree limb up in the heights, and bouncing around, and it's a little more precise. And then there's the cave levels where everything's really confined, and you have to be really precise with the controls if you don't want to get skewered by spikes or rolled over by a giant boulder. I mean, you know, then you've got the token water level thing that we all kind of just expect to have to suffer through for a minute. The good news is they acknowledged that they had to get the water level in. They acknowledged that they didn't really want to, I think. So they made it pretty quick and painless, and it gets out of the way in a hurry, and you get back to the fun ones. What I love about the snow levels is that the snow is slippery, and I feel like that's kind of an obvious one, but it plays out into the controls. When you go to start running, you're kind of slower to respond when you start moving, and then you slide a little bit when you try to stop. And it's really well executed. It makes for a nice element of challenge. These levels are towards the end of the game. They really make you figure out how to use the controls to their best effect. It ramps up difficulty nicely in that way. Every time you get to a new world, you have to kind of apply a new facet of the controls, and you have to apply it a little more precisely. And it builds incrementally and in a way that remains fun. They don't Battletoads you on this one. It's not the first level just being a walkthrough and then all of a sudden, what is this?
Then the turbo tunnels.
Well, that's, I mean, don't
Three
get me
different game modes in 3 stages.
And don't get me wrong, the game gets plenty hard towards the end. I mean, you'll see us die plenty in this footage. But it doesn't get hard until late in the game. Well, really hard until late in the game. The middle levels, it's pretty intermediate. At the beginning, it's downright simple. So it's a very accessible game. It's very easy to pick up and play. And it'll give you codes that allow you to save your process to the cartridge as you go. So this isn't quite like Sonic, where you have to beat the game in one sitting, or you don't.
Now, let's talk a little bit about the presentation, specifically the graphics, and also the music. Starting out on a lower note, the music is so-so. First level, you get the Tiny Toons theme, which is awesome. It sounds really good. But the levels after that are kind of hit or miss.
It gets a criminal case of the bleep bloops later on, where it's just sort of just kind of music to fill the space. And unlike a lot of games that came out during this period where, I mean, hell, you kind of want to go back and listen to them. There's no Mega Man X to be had in this.
Some of the music is downright circusy. Especially on levels that you're maybe having trouble with, or you keep falling and have to redo platforming segments, it can become annoying. However, let's jump right to the positive. The visuals are stunning. You would think that this has the SNES color palette because they used the colors so well here. It's so bright, so vibrant, so good looking. There's always something going on in the background too. It just looks good. With the exception, as Dan mentioned, they kind of did the obligatory water levels. The water levels are kind of boring looking.
It's nothing that you're really gonna think, wow, that was amazing, but by the standards of a water level,
yeah, they're fine. Yeah, they're all right. Now, beyond the use of color and the backgrounds, the character animations are just great too. There's just so many cartoon, I guess you could say, details. There's an idle animation, like in Sonic, for example. There's animations for him tripping over things comically, running into rakes, tripping over pop cans, running into walls. When he dies, like his eyes are zigzagging around, circling in his head. Like there's just attention to detail. So, Dan mentioned that the platforming is just solid, right? So it's fun, but then you're just tickled throughout because of all of these little presentational details that they just did a great job with.
They really did knock it out of the park with really reminding you at all times that you're playing a Tiny Toons game.
Yes.
It's not a Tiny Toons skinned game. It's really a part of the world.
Yeah, and you wouldn't want to skin, a Tiny Toon. That's just violent.
Yeah. It would be very violent.
Yeah, wouldn't make much of a hat either. They're kind of small.
No, kind of small.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Dizzy's a bit.
Yeah,
you could probably make a hat. Maybe some chaps.
Yeah,
some nice purple fuzzy chaps.
Probably assless chaps.
You could walk around with nothing but chaps and a smile.
Chapsticks.
Dizzy's body.
Yeah. What would we ultimately give this game?
Well, I'd say about a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Very solid title.
It's excellent. Looks good. Plays well.
Yeah, at lowest, like an 8. Like, the worst levels on it are still pretty fun.
Yeah. So, check this game out if you haven't already. It's no prototype, but it's good. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thanks for clicking that notification button so you can be notified when we have new videos. So the real subscribe button, basically. And
thanks for that, Google.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like and a share, and we will see you guys next time.